If you're tired of the usual plain, boring tables, you need to have a look at dynamic table headers. Let's check it out. Tables are one of the most common features of Excel. You probably make them every day and you probably look at them every day. Now they can be a little bit dull, repetitive and boring. So what can we do to make tables look better, look more interesting? What can you do to make your tables stand out? One thing you can do is create dynamic table headers. Now this means we actually use formulae in the header to make the headers change according to the information in the column. Let's have a look how that works. I've created a spreadsheet to log earnings from my part-time job. As you can see in column J, I'm logging total hours worked, and in column K, the pay, which is the total hours multiplied by the pay rate. I'm then making some tax calculations, and finally my pay after tax, which is my original pay minus the tax deducted. I've used some if formulae in these cells to help calculate the tax. As you can see, there's a tax threshold, and these if formula establish whether I need to pay tax according to how much pay I've received in the week. So you can have a look at our if formula video if you'd like to understand how they work. Okay, so this spreadsheet is fine, but one thing that is missing is a summary of information. Good spreadsheets always have summary information readily available. You shouldn't have to scroll to find the information. You shouldn't have to click the mouse to find the information. The summary information should be prominent and it should really be the first thing you see. You certainly shouldn't have to look around for it. So how are we going to incorporate some summary information into this table? Useful summary information might be things like total hours worked for the year, might be total pay for the year, total tax paid for the year. Things like this is really useful summary information. The traditional approach would be to add totals at the bottom of the table, and some formulae here would simply total up all of these with a sum formula and you will be able to see the total. Now this is the traditional approach, the conventional approach, and I think it's fine, but I think we can do better. The summary information should be at the top of the screen, not at the bottom of the screen. So what might alternative approaches be? A second approach would be to create a summary table in this area here and put the formulae in these cells to sum up, for example, total tax for the year and total pay for the year. If we have our summary information at the top rather than at the bottom, it's much more visible and prominent, much easier for the user to see, and the user certainly won't have to scroll or click the mouse to find it. So that's another approach. A third approach, and I think this is quite an innovative approach, is to use something called dynamic table headers. Now, what do I mean by dynamic table headers? Well, something that's static doesn't change. So what we have in cell J8 at the moment is a simple text input. This is static, so whatever happens in the rest of the spreadsheet, this isn't going to change. I'm talking about a dynamic table header. So when something else changes in the spreadsheet, something will change in this cell too. What we can do is combine the text with some kind of formula to create a piece of summary information and combine those two things into the same cell. So what we'll display in cell J8 will be total hours, and total hours for year equals, for example, 200, or however many hours you've worked for the year. So you're having the column header and some dynamic summary information in the same cell. And that's what we mean by dynamic table headers. So that might sound a bit complicated. Let's try an example. In cell K8, I would like the word pay to appear, and underneath the words total pay for year, followed by our total pay for the year, which I will have to generate using some kind of formula. So to do that, we make the whole cell into a formula and we integrate the text we want to appear into that formula. So we're going to click, I'm going to do this in the
the formula editor at the top. It's easiest to do it there. We're going to click enter and then put our text in speech marks, which is what we do when we're using Formulae. And then close the speech marks. And then I want to start a new line because I want the next piece of information to appear on the new line. When you're in a formula, you can hold the Alt key and hit enter. That will take you onto a new line. That's Alt and enter. So now we have pay and we're on the next line. Now I want another piece of text, so I'm going to link using the and sign, and then total pay for year. And then I want the next piece of information to appear on a new line, so I'm going to hold down Alt and hit enter again. That's Alt and enter. And now I have the text and I want to add a formula which will add up the total pay for the year and display it in this cell. So once again, I'm going to use an and sign, which is what you use to link things in the same formula. And my formula is going to be a sum formula. And you can tell Excel is ready for a formula because it's giving me the list of possible formulae and the prompts. So sum, and I'm going to click and hold on the cells that I want to add up and then close the bracket. So creating these kind of dynamic formulae is quite an intricate process, and it's always a case of trial and error. So I'm going to hit enter now and see what happens. It won't be perfect, but we'll see how far we've got. Okay, that looks pretty good. We're almost there. Total pay for year is not displaying on a new line, which is a little bit worrying. So let's delete this and sign and put pay and total pay for year in the same speech marks, and then hit Alt and enter after pay. And let's see what happens. Okay, that's better. That's displaying better. The row is too small now, so I'm going to double click to auto fit the row. Okay, good. Okay, well, we're almost there. I want the number to appear on a new line, so I'm going to hit Alt and enter just before the formula, and let's see what happens. Okay, that's not quite working. Let's try one more time. What's going on after? Okay. Let's try that. Okay, almost there. Okay. Okay, so there I've just tweaked the formula a bit to get it to display how I want to display. The important thing is that the correct information is displaying on the correct line, or this column header could get quite confusing. So as you can see, pay, total pay for year, and the pay you're actually receiving are all appearing on different lines. And I've done that by using Alt and enter within the formula. You'll have to play with it a little bit to get it to display properly, but you will get there. The last thing we need is a pound sign just before our number. So I'm going to put that pound sign within the speech marks. Okay, that seems to be working pretty well. So the dynamic table header is showing me some information, a description of the information that appears in the column, and a number, which is, in this case, is a sum formula of the contents of these cells. So let's try changing something and let's see what happens. So I've changed this to 30 and the dynamic table header updates. Let's change this to 0. And as you can see, the dynamic table header is updating. Okay, so I'm going to make this file available for download and see if you can create your own dynamic table headers in cells L8 to O8. Okay, so that's dynamic table headers. As you can see, it's quite an innovative and new way of displaying summary information. So give it a go and let us know how you get on.
Okay, so I hope you were able to follow that video and understand how to create dynamic table headers. This really is a nice feature, so let me know how you're getting on with them. If you're watching on YouTube and you'd like to leave a comment, that would be great. If you could subscribe to our channel, that would also be awesome. You can catch up with us on Facebook or on Twitter, and on the screen now, you'll see some links to other videos related to this one. Best of luck with Excel, and I'll see you on another video.